So today I kept trying to go outside and like do stuff. And something what every time I try to go out, something would happen where I had to come back home. So and when I went out the first time, I remember this one street, like the police had it blocked off and I had to get redirected to go around it. So I feel like everything is divination. So I just pay attention. But I feel like the times that we are in right now is very special. And like, I'm really curious for answers and stuff. So I feel like I want to read this book because I want to see the overall message that this book is trying to give. So this book is about Jesus' life from his Akashic records. The man, his name may be Levi or something. He wrote this book in like the early 1900s, like 1908, I think. And he channeled this about from the Akashic records about Jesus. So far it's been a good read. So I want to try to finish it. It's not that long, I guess. See, we're on page 24 of 115. And I like how it's written. Like it give you a summary of the chapter or it's telling you what story it's going to tell you. So I like that. So Jesus receives news of the death of his father. He writes a letter to his mother. The letter, he sends it on its way by a merchant. One day, as Jesus stood beside the Ganges, busy with his work, a caravan returned from the west. Drew near, and one approaching Jesus said, "We come to you from your native land and bring unwelcome news." Your father is no more on earth. Your mother grieves, and none can comfort her. She wonders whether you are still alive or not. She longs to see you once again. And Jesus bowed his head in silent thought, and then he wrote, "Oh, of what he wrote, this is the psalm. My mother, the noblest of the womankind, a man just from my native land has brought me word that father is no more in flesh, and that you grieve and are disconsolate. My mother, all is well for father, and is well for you. His work in this earth round is done, and is nobly done. In all the walks of life, man cannot change him with deceit, dishonesty, nor wrong intent. Yeah, that's interesting right here. So just by his good deed of, I guess, helping to bring Jesus into this world, even though he's not supposedly be the father, but just his role in this in all walks of life, meaning lifetimes even after that one, he cannot charge him with conceit, dishonesty, nor wrong intent. So if he is on this earth right now. He probably is very blessed in some form or fashion. Not in a way that people think, like not in riches, but in spirit. Our Father God is with him there. Hmm. As he was with him here. Hmm. And there his angel guards his footsteps, lest he goes astray. Why should you weep? Tears cannot conquer grief. There is no power in grief to mend a broken heart. Hmm. Tears cannot conquer grief. There is no power in grief to mend a broken heart. The plane of grief is idleness. The busy soul can never grieve. It has no time for grief. When grief comes trooping through the heart, just lose yourself. Plunge deep into the ministry of love, and grief is not. Yours is a ministry of love, and all the world is calling out for love. Oh, I see. I see what he's saying. I don't know why he just couldn't say it like this, but he telling her that she got to get busy and start doing her purpose, her mission. And he telling her like right here, this is like her purpose, ministry of love. Like she got that within her spirit to preach to other people, to teach other people about it. So he telling her like stop being still and idle because then grief is going to be able to conquer you. But get busy with something that you enjoy doing. Like you have to go deep. Like if you just busy, if you pick up extra hours at work at a job that you hate, that type of busyness is not going to satisfy you. You're going to become discontent and maybe even more depressed. But if you work part-time and then put full-time energy into something that you actually enjoy doing, or take that time to um figure yourself out, figure out what you want, take that time to do that, then grief won't be able to catch up with you and find you if you're doing what you love. So that's interesting because I didn't always think like that. Like like I thought you just had to be busy, period. It didn't matter. But I was always following my spirit, because when I just can't do a job no more, I would quit in the middle of that motherfucking job. Like I really like hold on, y'all. I have to take these necklaces off because I feel them. These necklaces I made for making money. They real intense energies. So oh, so much better. Cause now like I just want to chill and read this. I don't want to be in a, you know, tiger's eye type energy, even though those gems are not tiger's eye. I don't know. I don't really vibe with tiger's eye like that because the energy is really, really busy and it's more chaotic to me and I don't really like it. But anyways, yeah, I'm not for the let's just continue reading. Yours is a ministry of love and all the world. Okay. Then let the past go with the past. Rise from the cares of carnal things and give your life for those who live. He's really, really into service. Like, hmm. And if you lose your life in serving life, you were sure to find it in the morning sun, the even dews, and song of bird, and flowers, and in the stars of night. In just a little while, your problems of this earth round will be solved. And when your sums are all worked out, it will be pleasure unalloyed for you to enter wider fields of usefulness to solve the greater problems of the soul. Ah, that's interesting. In just a little while, your problems of this earth realm will be solved. And when your sums are all worked out and all worked out, it will be pleasure. What is this? So he talking about, once you work out what you need to work out as a soul, you will ascend into wider perceptions, wider. He called it fields of usefulness. He's really, really, really into service. Okay, so not a lord per complete and unreserved. To solve the greater problems of the soul. So he was saying that your mission would broaden so you be able to reach more people and solve greater problems of the soul. Okay. Because basically, when you hear you is like coming to a job, that's what it seems like. Or that's what he trying to say that it is. Like you come here to serve and to learn. Mm. Strive then to be content, and I will come to you someday and bring you richer gifts than gold or precious stones. I'm sure that John will care for you, supplying all your needs, and I am with you all the way. Jehoshua, and by the hand of one, a merchant going to Jerusalem, he sent his letter on its way. Hmm. Brahminic priests are enraged because of Jesus' teaching and resolve to drive him from India. Lamas pleads for him. Priests employ a murderer to kill him. Jeez. Lamas warns him and he flees to Nepal. The words and works of Jesus caused unrest through all the land. The common people were his friends, believed in him, and followed him in thongs. That's what it say. Thong, the thong, thong, thong. The priests and rulers were afraid of him. His very name sent terror to their hearts. He preached the brotherhood of life, the righteousness of equal rights, and taught the uselessness of priests. Ooh. Ain't that something? And sacrificial rites. He shook the very sand on which the Brahminic system stood. Yeah, the system, y'all. The system. He made the Brahminic idols seem so small and sacrifice so fraught with sin that shrines and wheels of prayer were all forgot. Ooh, he was spitting that game. The priest declared that if this Jewish boy should tarry longer in the land of revolution, see, you see that? They know it's revolutionary. They knew that. And they was scared because he was preaching and teaching that to people. Mm-mm-mm. The common people would arise and kill the priests and tear the temples down. Ooh, yeah, they was scared because he was gaining numbers because he was preaching the truth though. And so they sent a call abroad and priests from every province. Ooh, okay. I got my glasses on, but it's like, damn, it's still kind of hard on my eyes. Okay, let's scratch a little. Ooh, 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 ooh. All right. And so they sent a call abroad, and priests from every province came. Benares was on fire with Brahminic zeal. Benares, I thought you was woke. I thought you was woke, Benares. Lamas from the temple. Oh, these names. Gigantic, who knew the inner life of Jesus well, was in their midst and heard the rantings of the priests. And he stood forth and said, my brother priest, take heed, be careful what you do. This is a record making day. The world is looking on. The very life of Brahminic thought is now on trial. Mm, Judgment Day. If we are reason blind, if prejudice be keen today, if we sort to beastly force and dye our hands in blood that may, damn bitch, you poetic, in sight of Braham, be innocent and pure. Damn, that's that reverse psychology, because basically he was like, according to what you be preaching, you not even supposed to be acting like this. So according to your beliefs, follow what is innocent and pure. Mm, Clever. Who you are, dude? All right. So his vengeance may fall down on us. The very rock on which we stand may burst beneath our feet. And our beloved priesthood and our laws and shrines will go into decay. But they will let him speak no more. The wrathful priests rushed up and beat him. Damn. So they beat Gigantic, spit upon him and called him traitor, threw him bleeding to the street. He said it was a record day, so they probably gonna definitely get judgment for that shit. And you know why they gonna get judgment? They gonna get judgment under their own faith because they write those rituals on them. So just by what Jesus is saying is triggering them so much that they are no longer wearing their mask. They showing who they truly is. And they gonna die by those laws that they set. So and then confusion reigned. The priest became a mob. The sight of human blood led on to fiendish acts and called for more. Ooh. So people became bloodthirsty. That makes sense energetically. Hmm. Where I'm at. The rulers, fearing war, sought Jesus, and they found him calmly teaching in the marketplace. They urged him to depart, that he might save his life, but he refused to go. And then the priest sought cause for his arrest, but he had done no crime. And then false charges were preferred. But when the soldiers went to bring him to the judgment hall, they were afraid because the people stood in his defense. The priests were baffled and they resolved to take his life by stealth. Oh, so they're gonna low key assassinate him. You know, that is very common, a very common ritual. And you know what? Now they build you Jesus. They give you like a Malcolm X and a Martin Luther King or something, just to crucify him in front of you. So they took this energy and marketed it, they bottled it into a ritual. So they create your Jesus for you, get you following him, and then they crucify you. But energetically, that energy goes to them because they created that false Jesus. Because Jesus had a power to influence mentalities because he told people the truth. So, you know, they took this and they used it against people and yada, yada, yada. So, where we at? They found, okay, they found a man who was a murderer by trade and sent him out by night to slay the object of their wrath. Lamaze heard about their plotting and their plans and sent a messenger to warn his friend, and Jesus hastened to depart. By night, he left Benares, and with haste, he journeyed to the north. And everywhere, the farmers, merchants, and soldiers helped him on the way. And after many days, he reached the mighty Himalayas, and in the city of, oh Lord, Kappa Vestu, he abode. The priests of Buddha opened wide their temple doors for him. See, he got connections with them. He probably been there before, you know. Jesus and Bharata Together, they read the sacred books. Jesus takes exception to the Buddhist doctrine of evolution and reveals the true origin of man. Ooh, juicy. Juicy, juicy. Okay. Meets Vedyapati, who becomes his co-laborer. Among the Buddhist priests was one of who saw a lofty wisdom in the words that Jesus spoke. It was Bharata Arabo. Together, Jesus and Bharata read the Jewish Psalms and prophets, read the Vedas, the Avesta, and the wisdom of Gautama. And as they read and talked about the possibility of man, Bharata said, "Man is the marvel of the universe. He is part of everything, for he has been a living thing on every plane of life." Ooh, juicy. Wait, why is this not? Time was when man was not, and he was bit of formless substance and the molds of time. And then a protoplas. What's that? Mm. So it's a biological term that represents the entire cell, excluding the cell wall. So time was when man was not, and he was a bit of formless substance in the molds. A shape cavity used to give a definite form to fluid or plastic material. Okay. So time was when man was not, and he was a bit of a formless substance in molds of time. Hmm. And then a protoplas. Okay, so I guess he's telling how we create ourselves, how we manifest from like cell on up. So you come from like this formless substance, and then you manifest into a protoplas, which is an entire cell, and then you multiply until you create a body and all of that. By universe law, all things tend upward to the state of perfectness. The protoplas evolved. Yeah, see, evolved, becoming worm, then reptile, bird, and beast. And then at last it reached the form of man. Well, to me, what this is saying is, when you reincarnate, You have to take on different forms and evolve into those different forms. But let me continue to read on because it could be saying something different. Now, man himself is mind, and mind is here to gain perfection by experience, bitch. Yes, motherfucking facts. But you are not the mind. I'm talking now. I'm not reading. When I was going over my last video, sometimes when I was reading, it sounded like I was reading the words, but I was actually speaking to the story, I guess. But okay, so I'm gonna make it clear when I'm reading, when I'm speaking. You are not the mind. Like, you created it. It's basically, it's the same thing of what they saying. And mind is often manifested in fleshy form and in the form best suited to its growth. Yeah. So mind may manifest as worm or bird or beast or man. I don't know. It is kind of seem like he is saying that you are the mind, and then as you expand the mind, it goes into evolves into different forms. But let's finish because I might have to disagree. And this is not, I think this is the Buddhist priest talking. So mind may manifest, okay. The time will come when everything of life will be evolved unto the state of perfect man. And after man is man in perfectness, he will evolve to higher forms of life. And Jesus said, Barata Arabo, who taught you this? That mind. Ooh, bitch. Why this motherfucker fucking talk like me? Like, I don't know, because I ain't never read this before or anything like it. So, like, because the way that I talk, like, people, before I even read or knew that this existed, I talk like this. And people could witness that because this is how I see things. Who taught you this? That mind, which is the man, may manifest in flesh a beast or bird or a creeping thing. Barada said, from times which man remembers, not our priests have told us so, and so we know. And Jesus said, enlighten Arable, are you a mastermind? And do not know that man knows not by being told? Do not know. So he's saying that, so you a mastermind, but you don't know that man knows not by being told. What? That's kind of like a tongue twister. Do not know that man knows not by being told. So a man don't learn by being told. That's what I'm getting, but I'm kind of confused. Man may believe what others say, but those he never knows. If man would know, he must himself be what he knows. Motherfucking bit. Oh my goodness. Yes. That's the motherfucking truth though. Do you remember, Arabo, when you are ape, a bird, or oh, that's a good question. That's a good, thing to point out. Like, do you remember those times? that you was those things. But I want to continue because I don't know, I might disagree with this too, but let's see. Now if you have no better proving of your plea than that the priests have told you so, you do not know, you simply guess. Damn. Regard not then what any man has said. Let us forget the flesh and go with mind into the land of fleshless things. Mind never does forget. And backward through the apes, masterminds can trace themselves, and thus they know. Time never was when man was not. That which begins will have an end. If man was not, the time will come when he would not exist. That which begins will have an end. If man was not, the time will come when he will not exist. I'm kind of getting from what he's saying is that time exists because of man perception of time. So it could not exist before that because it only exists because man manifested through perception. So okay. From God's own record book, we read the triune God breathed forth, and seven spirits stood before his face. The Hebrews called these seven spirits Elohim. And these are they who, in their boundless power, created everything that is or was. From God's own record book, we read the triune God breathed forth, and seven spirits stood before his face, and they call him Elohim. And these are they who, in their boundless power, so these seven spirits have boundless power, created everything that is or was. These spirits of the triune God moved on the face of boundless space, and seven ethers were, and every ether had its form of life. Oh, the chakras. The chakras. Hmm. These form of life were but the thoughts of God, clothed in the substance of their ether planes. Man called these ether planes the planes of protoplasm, of earth, of plant, of beast, of man, of angel, and of cherubim. These planes with all these demon thoughts of God are never seen by eyes of man and flesh. They are composed of substance far too fine for fleshly eyes to see. And still they constitute the soul of things. Constitutes. Constitute. Single parents constitute a great proportion of the poor. Oh, be a part of a whole. Okay, so they are a part of the whole of the soul. of things. They constitute, so you can't see it, but they still make up part of the soul. And with the eyes of soul, all creatures see these ether planes and all forms of life. And with the eyes of soul, yeah, I get what he's saying. Cause that is true. That's how I see energy. Cause you have to see like with your mind eye, not with your earthly eyes. Because all forms of life on every plane are thoughts of God. Because all forms of life on every plane are thoughts of God. All creatures think, and every creature is possessed of will and in its measure has the power to choose. Ooh, juicy. And in their native planes, all creatures are supplied with nourishment from the ethers of their planes. And so it was with every living thing until the will became a sluggish will. And then the ethers of the protoplasm, the earth, the plant, the beast, the man began to vibrate very slow. Ooh, yeah. The ethers all became more dense, and all the creatures of these planes were clothed with coarser garbs, the garbs of flesh, which man can see. The ethers all became more dense in all the creatures. So the ethers all became more dense, and all the creatures of these planes were clothed with coarser garbs and garbs of flesh, which man can see. And those this coarser manifests, which man called physical, appeared. Mm, yeah. And this is what is called the fall of man. Yeah. But man fall not alone, for protoplasm and earth and plant and beast were all included in the fall. The angels and the cherubim fall not. Their wills were never, they will were ever strong. And so they held the ethers of their planes in harmony with God. Now, when the ethers reached the rate of atmosphere, and all the creatures of these planes must get their food from atmosphere, the conflict came. And that which the infinite man, Abes, Abes, I'm not sure what that's a, called survival of the best became the law. Mm. The stronger ate the bodies of the weaker manifest. And here is where the carnal law of evolution had its rise. And now man in his other shamelessness strikes down and eats the beast. The beast consumes the plant. The plant thrives on the earth. The earth absorbs the protoplasm. In yonder kingdom of the soul, this carnal evolution is not known. And the great work of masterminds is to restore the heritage of man, to bring him back to his estate that he has lost. And when he again will live upon the ethers of his native plane, the thoughts of God change not. The manifest of life on every plane unfold into perfection of their kind. And as the thoughts of God can never die, there is no death to any being of the seven ethers, of the seven spirits, of the triune God. And soul and earth is never plant. A beast or bird or creeping thing is never man, and man is not and cannot be a beast or bird or creeping thing. The time will come when all these seven manifests will be absorbed, and man and beast and plant and earth and protoplasm will be redeemed. Bharata was amazed. The wisdom of the Jewish sage was a revelation unto him. Mm. Why did they become denser? Okay, so what I'm getting from this is that everything is as it always was. So, but everything is like a aspect of this God energy. So we are like microisms in that aspect, aspect of that God energy. So if you was to see a bird or something, that's a just a I guess an allegory of God, or not an allegory, because I feel like an allegory would contain more information, but it's more like an aspect, a factor of God and the way that God moves or thinks. But God is not a form or a sky being. You know, we are all aspects of it. So there was a time that it came dense. So let me read that part again. Now, when the ethers reached the rate of atmosphere, and all the creatures of these planes must get their food from atmosphere, the conflict came, because now they had to survive. And for you to survive here on this plane, you have to constantly kill and sacrifice, even if you're killing a plant. Um, and then the energy made laws around that survival. The stronger ate the bodies of the weaker manifests. So it's like the stronger thoughts or the stronger like let's say that two people was trying to plan an ideal or something. So and let's say that one person had a better ideal than the other, then that one who had a better ideal would eat the other thought because its use for survival is like greater. I don't know if that was the best allegory, but that's what I had. Okay, so where I'm at. And here is where the carnal law of evolution had its arise. So there is evolution, because he's saying that um like evolution was manifested out of that energy of survival, because at some point you had to become and evolve into a stronger, what you call it, you had to evolve into a stronger being in order to survive. So now that fish that you ate might get tired of being a fish, so it's going to evolve into a human, but first maybe a ape or something like that. But let me dig into it a little bit more. And now man in his other shamelessness strikes down and eats the beast. The beast consumes the plant. The plant thrives on the earth. The earth absorbs the protoplasm. So he basically saying you okay, like it's two sides to this. So I'm trying to get it right, but so the other man was saying that we evolved from the protoplasm. But he's saying that no, that aspect of God is feeding off of the protoplasm. But let's see. In yonder kingdom of the soul, this carnal evolution is not known. And the great work of masterminds is to restore the heritage of man, to bring him back to his estate that he has lost. And when he again will live upon the ethers of his natal plane. So is he evolving until he get to that other plane that he had fell from? Because man had fell, it said. I gotta go back a little bit. These forms of life were but the thoughts of God, clothed in the substance of their ether planes. So, like that bird, that animal that you see is clothed in a representation of that thought, is what I'm getting. Man calls these ether planes the planes of protoplas, of earth, of plant, of beast, of man, of angel, and of cherubim. Oh, I get what he's saying. So the man who was talking before him, see, what he been taught limited his perspective to that you just evolve into perfect man. But there's something outside of that. You could evolve out of this earth plane. So he's saying that he got like almost the right concept, but he is applying it in the wrong area because he's not zoomed out enough. These planes, with all their theme and thoughts of God, are never seen by eyes of man in flesh. They are composed of substance far too fine for fleshy eyes to see, and still they constitute the soul of things. And with the eyes of soul, all creatures see these ether planes and all forms of life, because all forms of life on every plane are thoughts of God, and all creatures think, and every creature is possessed of will, and in its measure has the power to choose. And in their native planes, all creatures are supplied with nourishment from the ethers of their planes. And so it was with every living thing until the will became sluggish will. Okay. And then the ethers of the protoplasm, the earth, the plant, the beast, the man began to vibrate very slow. And that's how it fell, became dense, because the will became weak. That's crazy because you see that. You see that in life. Hmm. All right, so where was I over here? Bharata was amazed. The wisdom of the Jewish sage was a revelation unto him. Now, Vidyapati, wisest of the Indian sage, chief of temple Kapavestu, heard Bharata speak to Jesus of the origin of man and heard the answers of the Hebrew prophet. And he said, "You priests of Kapavestu heard me speak. We stand today upon a crease of time. 6 times ago, a master soul was born who gave the glory light to man. And now a master sage stands here in temple Kapavestu. This Hebrew prophet is the rising star of wisdom, deified. He brings to us a knowledge of the secret things of God, and all the world will hear his words, will heed his words, and glorify his name. You priests of Temple Kapavestu, stay, be still, listen when he speaks. He is the living oracle of God." And at the beginning of this book, I might have highlighted, most likely. It said that God manifests himself into flesh so others could understand. And that made a lot of sense to me. And all the priests gave thanks and praised the Buddha of enlightenment. What? So what, now Jesus is the Buddha? Jesus teaches the common people at a spring, tells them how to attain unto happiness, relates the parable of the rocky field and the hidden treasures. In silent meditation, Jesus sat beside a flowing spring. It was a holy day, and many people of the servant caste were near the place. And Jesus saw the hard drawn lines of toil on every brow and every hand. There was no look of joy in any face. Not one of all the group could think of anything but toil. Toil is work. And Jesus spoke to one and said, "Why are you all so sad? Have you no happiness in life?" The man replied, "We scarcely know the meaning of that word. We toil to live." So they work to live, but it's really working to die. And hope for nothing else but toil. See, that's how they manifesting that. That's why that's all they have. See? And this is probably what Jesus is gonna tell them. Y'all basically manifesting this life for yourself. Cause they said they hope for nothing else but work. And that's how people is. Like you might pray for a job or something. And bless the day when we can cease our toil and lay us down to rest in Buddha's city of the dead. Ooh, child. And Jesus' heart was stirred with pity and with love for these poor toilers. And he said, Toy, I can't stand this word, should not make a person sad. Man should be happiest when they toil. When hope and love are back of toil, then all of life is filled with joy and peace. And this is heaven. Do you not know what? Do you not know that such a heaven is for you? Is I'm getting why Jesus giving me Capricorn vibes. Ooh, child. Yeah, it's working extremely hard. And man replied, Of heaven we have heard, but then it is so far away and we must live so many lives before we can reach that place. You see that? And Jesus said, My brother, man, your thoughts are wrong. Your heaven is not far away, and it is not a place midst and bounds. It's not a country to be reached. It is a state of mind. God never made heaven for man. He never made a hell. We are creators and we make our own. Now cease to seek for heaven in the sky. Just open up the windows of the hearts, and like a flood of light, a heaven will come and bring a boundless joy. Then toil will not be cruel task. The people were amazed. I don't know if I agree with this. Like they saying, I'm guessing that he's saying that if you was to view work differently, I don't know. I'm kind of not really sure about what he said to no, I'm sure what he said to his mom, but it was something else. Hold on. I'm guessing if you was to reach a certain state of mind, the work that you will put hard labor into something that you love. Okay. Thank you. It's like I just channeled that because at first I was seeing it differently, but that's basically what he's saying. The people were amazed and gathered close to hear his strange young master speak, imploring him to tell them more about the Father God, about the heaven that man can make on earth, about the boundless joy. And Jesus spoke a parable. He said, A certain man possessed a field. The soil was hard and poor. By constant toil, he scarcely could provide enough of food to keep his family from want. One day, a miner who could see beneath the soil and passing on his way saw this poor man and his unfruitful field. He called the warrior toiler and he said, "My brother, know you not that just below the surface of your barren field rich treasures lay concealed? You plow and sow and reap in scanty way, and day by day you thread upon a mine of gold and precious stones. This wealth lies not upon the surface of the ground, but you would dig away the rocky soil." Yeah, so in this, and this could be for the whole book. Um, okay, what I'm about to say is that everything is a representation of energy and how it works. Everything. Even if it's not intentionally, it still comes out like that. Cause that's just how everything is. So he's given this example, but this is how to, because you have to work hard on yourself and you have to dig below the surface. So that's what he truly is pointing to. Okay, so and then the man believed. Um, but if you would dig away the rocky soil and dive down deep into the earth, you need no longer till the soil for naught. The man believed, the miner surely knows. He said, and I will find the treasures hidden in my field. And then he dug away the rocky soil, and deep down in the earth, he found a mine of gold. And Jesus said, the sons of man are toiling hard on desert plains and burning sands and rocky soils, are doing what their fathers did, not dreaming they can be aught else. See, I like that. He basically saying that you limiting yourself to one perspective because you don't dream of more. You don't dream of having more. You don't want more in life. And because of that, that's why you don't manifest anything. But also it's the belief. If you believe that you would find treasure, you will. Behold, a master comes and tells them of a hidden wealth that underneath the rocky soil of carnal things. See, when they're talking about carnal things, I forgot what I was about to say. I was gonna say that when they're talking about carnal thing, they're talking about um things that's going on with you internally, are treasures that no man can count. Well, no, not that. I said that wrong because the carnal things is the 3D things, the things that fell and became dense and solid and manifested into this 3D reality. Money, materialism. Okay, so are treasures that no man can count. So beneath those superficial things are treasures. That is the heart, that in the heart the richest gems abound, that he who wills may open the door and find them all. he who wills. Because it's all about your will. So if you have the will to want more and to dig deeper and to, if you will yourself in the right direction, you will manifest that. And then the people said, make known to us the way that we may find the wealth that lies within the heart. See? And Jesus opened up the way. The toilers saw another side of life, and toil became a joy. And this doesn't mean that they went to work happy, like they just became complacent. They most likely found something that they enjoy to do, and they believe that they could have more, and their dreams became boundless, and then they became happy because they manifested that. All right, so I'm gonna read one more chapter and then I'm gonna go to bed. It's 4:25 in the morning. So, but it's been such a good read that I kind of want to do two chapters, but I'm gonna leave it at one. The Jubilee and Capovistu, Jesus teaches in the plaza, and the people are astonished. He relates the parable of unkept vineyard and the vine dresser. The priests are angered by his words. It was a gala day and sacred Capovistu. A throng of Buddhist worshippers had met to celebrate a jubilee, and priests and masters from all parts of India were there. They taught. Um, I don't remember how old Jesus was at this time, but they keep calling him very young, like a boy. So I'm thinking like, how old was he? Let me pause and find that, and I will be back. Okay, so he was around like 13 at this time, 13, 14, around this time that he was in India. Okay, so the priests and masters from all parts of India were there. They taught, but they embellished little truth with many words. And Jesus went into the ancient plaza and taught. He spoke of Father, Mother, God. He told about the brotherhood of life. The priests and all the people were astounded at his words and said, it was not Buddha come again in flesh. No other one could speak with such simplicity and power. That's interesting. People was impressed by Jesus because he just made sense. He said things in a simple way, but it gave you such a clear understanding of the overall, is what I'm getting. And Jesus spoke a parable. He said, there was a vineyard, all unkept. The vines were high, the growth of leaves and branches great. The leaves were broad and shut the sunlight from the vines. The grapes were sour and few and small. The pruner came with his sharp knife. He cut off every branch, and not a leaf remained, just root and stalk and nothing more. The busy neighbors came with one accord and were amazed and said to him, Who pruned? You foolish man, the vineyard is despoiled. Such desolation, there is no beauty left. And when the harvest time shall come, the gatherers will find no fruit. The pruner said, content yourself with what you think, and come again at harvest time and see. And when the harvest time came on, the busy neighbors came again, they were surprised. The naked stalks had put forth branch and leaf, and heavy clusters of delicious grapes weighed every branch to earth. The gatherers rejoiced as day by day they carried the rich fruitage to the press. Behold, the vineyard of the Lord, the earth is spread with human vines. The gorgeous forms and rights of man are branches, and their words are leaves, and they have grown so great that the sunlight can no longer reach the heart. There is no fruit. Ooh. Behold, the pruner comes, and with a two-edged knife he cuts away the branches, the leaves of words, and he just left the root. I said that because I understood the analogy, but it did go deeper because I didn't. Okay, when I first was reading it, I was getting that you have to cut off the spore bunches so that new fruit can grow in. But it was the fact that the trees were so big, they was beautiful looking, but they was blocking out the sun, so the sun couldn't reach the roots. And that's why the fruit wasn't growing abundantly. Mm. So that's the same analogy of somebody who, like, let's say that they reach the top, they reach a level of success that most of us doesn't see, but in the process they lose their own will and their own divinity, and they are no longer compassionate or empathetic because of all what they had to sacrifice to get into that position. So now they just give spore fruit. So, and they might look nice, like they might be dressed up in designer clothes and whatnot, but at the core they are rotten. All right, so behold, the pruner comes, the priests, and they pompous show rebuke the pruner and will stay with him in his work. They see no beauty in the stalks of human life, no promises of fruit. The harvest time will come, and they who scorn the pruner will look on again and be amazed. For they will see the human stalks that seem so lifeless, bending low with precious fruit. And they will hear the harvesters rejoice because the harvest is so great. The priests were not well pleased with Jesus' words, but they rebuked him not. They feared the magnitude. Mm. All right, so I'm going to end it here and pick it up again soon. See you later.